time for equity. Now what do we want? ROE. With whatever info I have, first I'll try to pen it down. ROE is retention ratio, growth is retention ratio into return on equity. Retention ratio is given. ROE we have to find out. Growth is not given. Okay, fine. Forward PE ratio is given. Forward PE means what? Fundamental PE. Forward PE, if you remember, forward PE was dividend payout ratio. Dividend payout ratio upon KE minus G. Forward PE is 8. Dividend payout ratio will be 1 minus retention ratio. So if retention ratio is 45%, dividend payout ratio has to be 55%. KE, required rate of return, is given, minus G. Can you get G? So 8 into 0.1 will be 0.8 minus 8G is equal to 0.55. 0.8 minus 0.55 will be 8G. So this will be 0.25 is equal to 8G. Therefore G is equal to 0.25 divided by 8. 0.25 divided by 8 is how much? Please help me. 0.031. Now ROE will be what? 0.031 divided by 0.45 is how much? 0.069, which is 6.9%, option A. Clear? Okay. Can I proceed? Now see, this is a very special question. Understand, we have to find out what? Growth rate. So much of info given, confused. What to do? Write it down. One way you can get the growth rate is retention ratio into return on equity. Retention ratio is given, but return on equity is not given, and there's no way you can find that out. Okay? So then what to do? Try another method. Fundamental PE ratio. Fundamental PE is dividend payout ratio upon KE minus G. Dividend payout ratio is 1 minus retention rate, 0.4, upon KE will be your nominal risk free rate plus the risk premium. So 8.5% is the KE. So 0.085 minus growth rate. I could have got it this way, but the only problem is that this is PE ratio. They have nowhere mentioned it is fundamental PE. So again, I'm restricted from using this. So now what is the last option that I have? I can maybe try using the Gordon's growth model. Gordon's growth model is this PE ratio is price, which is current price P0 upon E1. E1 is next period earning. So this becomes what? Forward PE ratio. Did you understand this? Now forward PE ratio, the fundamental PE is forward PE, right? Is dividend payout ratio upon KE minus G. Dividend payout ratio is how much? 40% upon fundamental PE is given to you 22, KE 0.085 as we had calculated minus G. This way also it can be done, but unfortunately the G which you calculate using this method, it's nowhere in the options. So then I had to resort to that method. I hope you understood the confusion in the question. Okay, fine. Proceed. Now see, growth rate we have to find out. Okay. Let us think of all the possibilities to find out the growth rate. One is growth rate is retention ratio into return on equity. Retention ratio we have, but return on equity we don't have. So I eliminate this. Second possibility is Gordon's growth. Current share price P0 is equal to D1 upon KE minus G. So P0 is given 36. D1 is expected dividend next year. How do I know expected dividend? Because expected retention rate is given. Retention rate 60%, so expected dividend 40%. But 40% of what? Of the EPS? EPS I will come to know. PE ratio is 22. So 22, and this will be E1 because next year. So price is 36. Divide by 22 will give me E1, which is how much? 1.636 is the E1. 1.636. I take 40% of that dividend into 0.65 upon KE. KE will be nominal risk-free rate plus the risk premium 8.5%. 0.085 minus G. Now if you solve for G, you will get something 6.68, something like that. So which is option B, 6.7%. So B should be the answer. Other way of calculating this growth rate is your fundamental PE ratio. Fundamental PE ratio was what? Same. This only D1 upon K minus G. Okay, fine. So option B. Proceed. Have you calculated the third question? What is the answer that you are getting? Let's check. Leverage ratio is 1.75. What was the formula for leverage ratio? Leverage ratio is 1 upon own money. Leverage ratio 1.75. So 1 upon X. So X will be 1 divided by 1.75. So reciprocal of 1.75 is 57% is own money. So borrowed money is 43. Option A. Clear? To the fourth. Guys, what is equity value? Equity value means my own money. Okay, now let's see at time 0. What is the total investment? 2000 shares into 12. 24,000. Now I have to find out the breakup between own money and borrowed money. Leverage ratio is 3. Leverage ratio is 1 upon own money, which is 3. So own money is 1/3, 33%. 1/3 of 24,000 is 8,000 is my own money. Borrowed money is how much? 16,000. After a year, I sell 2,000 shares at 9.5. So 2,000 into 9.5 is how much? 19,000. 19,000. Out of 19,000, I have to repay the loan, which is 16,000 on that 3% interest. How much? 480. Any other charges? No. What is the leftover amount? 2520 is the equity. Option B. Clear? 19,000 may if I repay the loan and interest, what is the leftover amount? Okay. Fifth. Market cap weighted index. What is the weight of this stock? It will simply be the market cap of that stock divided by the total market cap of the index, which will simply be 20 by 57, which comes to 35%. Option C. If I ask you now this, instead of a market cap weighted index, suppose it were an equal weighted index, what would have been the weight of this stock in an equal weighted index? In an equal weighted index, this stock would have a weightage of 25%. How did I determine that? Because there are 4 constituent stocks in the index, and equal weighting matlab each stock has equal weight, so 1/4 is 25%. If I had told you that this index is a price weighted index, then what would have been the weightage of this stock? 30%. That stock's price divided by total index value, 30 by 100, 30 per. All options are given to you. So you should know which one to use when. Okay? Fine. Any doubts in this? Sure?